Greetings, fellow prodigals. My name is Sam Levine, also known as Harkin, and I'm the head storyteller for the Sunset to Sunrise LARP, running at DragonCon 2019 event in Atlanta, Georgia. While the event has already started for some, it is run from Thursday to Monday over Labor Day weekend. The Sunset to Sunrise World of Darkness LARP is part of an ongoing storyline in the After the Sun Sets Games LARP group of Orlando, Florida convention games. Our game will be running on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, starting at 7 p.m. in the Westin Hotel and running to about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, or whenever we decide we're too tired to stay up and keep going. After 2 o'clock, of course. We hope that starting this year we'll be able to continue to move through time, starting with the 1066 England game and this year, and jump forward each year of play in time to another major event in history. Now, this is not a time travel game, as the characters are starting out in 1066, and for vampires, just activity in the next game is just a case of being there or waking up or something along those lines. But for Farah and Guru and and things like that, it's more of a descendancy thing. So next year's game, you'd be the child or grandchild of the character you're playing this year. Now for the changelings, it's more of a past lives thing. Fae can be born over and over again from body to body, just returning to the dreaming when they die or gain too much banality if they're not final death. Now, in this case, each consecutive year they'll be coming back to either revisit the same character or play a new one if they feel like it. In the future, we plan to bring other things from the World of Darkness, by White Wolf, and Mind's Eye Theater into our games that we run, such as mages, mummies, things of that nature, hunters, all kinds of interesting things that exist in the World of Darkness. We just can't really do it in the 1066 setting, and we're already trying pretty hard with what we've got now. Now, I'm not the first to run something like this at DragonCon, and the group before me, I hope, the group before me that ran it for several years. I played in their LARP for several years. Actually, Harkin played it in almost every year that they ran it, starting from the beginning. And I very much enjoyed the character. I very much enjoyed the moving through time, and I really enjoyed being able to have somewhere to go at nights at DragonCon to actually participate in something as opposed to just get drunk and wander around. Those years are kind of in my past. Now, in the game run before this, I was a player by the name of Harkin. So if you were a player in that great game as well, please look us up, and we'll see if we can resurrect your character that you had in that game yourself. Okay, let me get into a few things you might want to know. First, the system we are using is the Mind's Eye Theater done by Night Studios. A huge vampire and werewolf books are great, and I hope it all goes well for you all. It's a bit late to get them for DragonCon 2019, but you can get them on DriveThruRPG website. If you buy it, you can even do the PDF version from them for much cheaper, and then you look at it on your phone, your tablets, and have access to it as you need. All right, let's get into a few things for the event. First of all, it is being held in 1066 in England, which is during the time of one of the greatest changes to what is now modern-day England throughout history. This is when William the Conqueror came in and basically beat the forces that were there, took over. Now he had his help, and in the World of Darkness he had a lot of help that most don't know about. But we'll get into some of that during the LARP. What I do want to cover is that playable things, such as vampires, all forms of were creatures, including some that will only exist this year, because the War of the Rage happens after this time period when they all get wiped out by certain Guru clans. Nevertheless, changelings are also, in a way, relatively new. I am using the By Night Studios system for them, which is unfortunately only in PDF. They didn't get to the point of printing it, and I do have it. And it is available online, I believe, for free. So it's very helpful, but a lot of it's actually going to come from the original source material for the changelings. I'm not using the Dark Ages changeling stuff just because it's so vastly different, and I'm definitely not using any of the later system for World of Darkness. So basically, it's the original changelings that came out for White Wolf, and I'm just incorporating them into the LARP as if they're pure and relatively brand new. Um, Now, if I do more videos, I'll go into more details about the world and some of the things that are going on, but I do want to cover a couple of things that are helpful for the LARP. You might be watching this now because you came up to my table and said, hey, what's going on? And I pointed you in this direction, or someone else might have to give you a heads up. So, I've got a couple of things that are going on. First of all, we've got 3 major challenge kind of things that are going on. The first, which runs from Saturday through Sunday, is the Fae Challenge. Might sound a little silly, but trust me, people can have a lot of fun doing something like this, and it gets to show off the Fae and anybody else basically doing their artwork. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have a bunch of pictures that are from coloring books to color in. We have color pencils. They'll be at both the table for the sign-up area and actually at the LARP. There'll be a table set aside with the color pencils and things like that, and it's in what we're calling the Moody Dragon Tavern. This is a safe haven, a place where anyone can gather powerful magics. It's run by a powerful individual, which let's hope you can coax what he is out of him. Good luck. Nevertheless, it is a tavern both in-game, and we'll have some things available to players. Before I get too far into that, each player will start the game with 2 drachma tokens. These tokens are to grant access to our little drink and snack area. Of course, the snacks are things like Little Debbie's. We've got a variety of different things that'll be there. Some other things might be added on by a few of our other attendees. Nevertheless, there'll be soda and a few magical potions that are also available. You start off the game with 2 tokens per character. It does cost a token per night to have access to our little food and drink thing. Roughly the value is about, well, $1 if you bought it ahead of time. For those who not, it's $2.50-ish. We'll see how that goes, depending on what the costs end up being. So either buying 2 of them would be $2, which of course is going to the DragonCon charity, along with $5 per player as part of their fee are going to the DragonCon charity. Well, I mean, who better to care about heart disease and things like that than A, someone who's had a heart attack, and B, vampires. Well, definitely want to keep humans with their good blood and good hearts pumping it. So as far as the Moody Dragon Tavern, it's a safe place where literally a vampire and a changeling could be sitting side by side, having a drink in character, and not have to worry about banality, unless they're a she. If they're a she, well, you need at least 5 feet between you and a vampire before you start having issues. But then, hey, that's your curse. Good luck. Now, as far as the, like I said, access to the tavern will cost you 1 token. The 3 major challenges, such as the Changeling Challenge, which I just showed you with the coloring contest, also costs a token to participate in. So we are trying to raise money for the Atlanta Heart Association, the heart disease godly people who are working so hard to help deal with that issue and several other issues to make us better. So, so the Moody Badger Tavern is our safe haven, Elysium, all sorts of things. It's also our initial meeting place. Now the tavern will move from city to city as the LARP itself moves from city to city. We're starting out the game in York, which has recently been devastated and destroyed. and it's in the process of rebuilding and reestablishing itself. We'll then be moving on Saturday night to Oxford, where the new prince will be establishing his court. London's just too messy and too much going on. So, but for Sunday, those of you who are not engaged in other elsewhere activities, depending on what you're playing, the central location will be in London, which, of course, like I said, is a big mess. So, in 1066, you've got a lot going on. William has taken over. It is approximately, for start of game, about 6 days after the Battle of Hastings, where William conquered and is now in the process of becoming literally the ruler of Great Britain. So, some other things in the game I want to go over. First of all, the storytellers will be issued one of these folders. Has a little sticker for our LARP on it. And inside, they'll have our base schedule, which is for them, but helpful for them to kind of be able to tell you if something's about to happen or things of that nature. What can and cannot be played. The charts for upgrading your character, as you do get XP during the game, as well as each day of the game. Plus, you can purchase XP up to a very small amount, but a point, to be able to get your character a couple of extra things that you want to start with. It does list the recent history for reference material, goes over description on the actions, healing, so our storytellers have that. It does have the rules for our second challenge. On Friday night, we will have the Vampire Challenge. Should be about 9 o'clock-ish, but then again, timing is timing. As far as the Vampire Challenge, basically it's a blood drinking competition. Yeah, it sounds worse than it is. It is completely edible by humans, us, not the characters. It's basically made from powdered sugar, red food coloring, cocoa powder, and water. So it's kind of chocolatey and turns your mouth red. Hope you like it. Nevertheless, it'll cost you 1 drachma to participate. For each of the drinks that you consume, there are side effects. The side effects are fun. They're to be role-played, and our bartender, whether it's, our bartender, will be responsible for having you roll this lovely D12, and depending on what you are, which you will have to inform them of, be it vampire, Faraguru, or changeling, the side effects vary as to what happens to your character. Nothing detrimental. At most, it's something that lasts for an hour for roleplay purposes. I hope you guys have a lot of fun with it. If you do manage to drink 3 or more in the event, now it is a challenge, so drinking more and more of them, of course, they're only in 2-ounce cup sizes, so you're not going to get sick, hopefully. Nevertheless, if you drink 3 or more, your character will automatically get 5 XP. And of course, now you've had to roleplay 3 side effects on your character, which of course will affect additional roleplay in the game, so it's worth it. When you now the person who can drink the most of them, hopefully and not puke all over the place, will win a prize. So it is a challenge. It only lasts for about an hour, so we'll see how it goes. And we have an event that starts, around 10 o'clock, which is pretty important. You get to meet our prince. Our booklet does have a few other things of information. Most of it is for helping the storytellers help you evolve the game. Now there are some missions. I'll get to the cards for that in a little bit. That'll describe the information that you need to seek. So I'm trying to make this as easy for everyone as possible so we can kind of just have fun doing the storytelling part and role-playing part. I mean, that is what LARPs are for. Now, there will be combat stuff, but you don't have to participate. And with our LARP, you can come in and go out depending on what you're doing. You want to go see the Rocky Horror Picture Show? By all means, go! I wish I could. So, hope you have fun. There's some concert you want to go to, some band you want to see. By all means, go out of character, head out, and come back when you're done. Have some fun with us. Like I said, it is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, so show up when you can, but if you could be there Friday night when we get started, it would really help for the rest of the game. Um, and introductions are kind of important. Let's see. There are a couple of other helpful things within the storyteller's book. Most of it, like I said, is reference material to help them facilitate getting you the information that you need to run your missions and things like that. When you go there, we will have some characters pre-gen. We'll also have characters or storytellers there, mostly myself, because this is what I'm doing. There to help you make your own character. Now, as far as those who, in a hurry, have done this before and want to work on making their own character, there are a couple of things that have to be dealt with, and you can find that out at the table. We will have access to the books as well as the PDF version to help you make characters for this LARP. Basically, for those of you who have done this before, you make the base character, then you get an additional 20 XP on top of the 30 that you get in the initial making of the character. So it's a little more than starting out character, and then you can advance that through roleplay, through acquiring things, any number of different aspects, as well as the challenges that will boost the game a little further, and your character. So this book, I don't know if you can see it real well, but it says Character, Clan, Tribe, and Kith Book. Inside, this will be available at the booth as well as at the LARP. It has the basic descriptions, especially in this time period, of the different vampire clans, the Guru tribes that are available or playable, as well as a few others just for information purposes. And when you get towards the back, it's got what you need for changelings. Now, there are non-standard things that can be played. We have heroic humans, which are literally just heroic humans. Now, this also includes ghouls, kinfolk, things of that nature. For those of you who have add-ons or someone who doesn't want to play one of the monsters and wants to be able to do stuff during the day, not that we'll be role-playing it during the day, well, maybe. But we will have the availability to have story stuff happen in between the gaming sessions as it moves from one city to the next each night. Okay, so another thing that can be acquired, now of course this is again trying to raise money for the charity, we want to try and get as much as we can. For $5, there is a limited number of them, so it is first come, first serve, of artifacts that can be acquired for your character in the game or can be acquired for someone else. It is a limit of 1 artifact per character. So if you come up to buy a character and you've got lots of money and you want to buy several artifacts for you and your group, it is 1 per character, and it isn't bound to the character until you've authorized that with a storyteller. Some artifacts are very specific to, say, werewolves or changelings. 1 or 2 is specific to vampires, but in general, any of the artifacts can be used by anyone. It's just whether or not it has the extra features. Another thing that we're doing, of course, again, to raise money and to keep story from getting dull at any point, we have these little mission cards. They're small, they're laminated. If you lose them, I'll make more. Basically, mission cards are specific to what you are. So if you're a vampire, you get vampire mission cards. If you're a changeling, you get changeling mission cards. An example, I have one right here. Now, of course, every vampire wants to hear this from, your sire wants you to turn someone to see if you can. You have been given permission to do so locally. The issue is that you have to be a good fit for the clan, or they have to be a good fit for the clan. They will also be your responsibility. If anyone is killed in the process of this mission, you will be punished. It is level difficulty 2, so in this that means that it's relatively on the easy side on a scale of 1 to 5. A 5 being, 1 vampire against 1 werewolf. Not usually a good idea. It is worth 2 XP for your character, having completed it. Now, obviously, you're not going to actually turn someone, but, you're going to story work out trying to find someone to turn. Now, if it is someone in the game who is starting out as a kinfolk or something else, and you manage to turn them, well, let's just see that it's the story's worth the extra XP. So we do have another thing that's also available, again, trying to raise a little extra money for the charity. We have these little paper, rock, scissors cards. I did get the idea from a friend of mine who made it and gave it to some of us in the old LARP, Rogue Phoenix Sci-Fi Club. And well, I'll be using theirs. We did make our own sets. Again, it is first come, first serve. I might be able to make more at the con if I can get the laminator to work. But, you know, there you go. That way you don't have to do the whole whatever. So you can just go, here you go. Or literally hold out the cards and tell them to pick one. Now, on the back of each set will be one of our cards. So that's kind of telling if you do it that way. But, okay. All right, so a couple other things. There are stamps, meaning different things that will be applied to your character sheet depending on what you do. For instance, going to the Moody Badger Tavern and acquiring a access to said tavern, you will get a stamp. This signifies that you have paid for access to said tavern and can drink soda and things of that nature. Now, magic potions in these, which are very flavorful things and have some very interesting names, I hope, are an additional coin. Now, each one of those will have its own in-game effects, and that will be listed and posted right there at the tavern, as well as our sign-up table. Not going into that ahead of time. Another thing we have are these little plastic gems. They look kind of neat. They come in a couple different colors, but mostly purplish. These will represent a storyteller giving a player a boost. As in, you're doing really great in role-playing, you're keeping people entertained, you're making us laugh our butts off, you get one of these. These are worth additional XP. They can be turned in, that night. To have XP to spend the next day. Obviously, if it's Sunday, you can spend it right away. All right. Now, for those of you who are changelings, bunks are always the more interesting things to try and figure out. Simple bunks, well, let's say something like Slinky. If you want to bring your own, know you're going to play a changeling, awesome. Well, let's see what you got. As far as what we do have a couple of interesting things, but most of it is pretty much just based on what you would normally do to activate that bunk in the game. If you don't know that already, it's easy enough to look up. We do have a couple of minor challenges. Some of them are, like I said, based on mission cards. We will have rune games, where you set out the runes. One of them is a interpretation event. Might add something to your character, might answer a question, things of that nature. Good stuff. We also have one that's part of a challenge, where it's a collecting the runes. Once you have all of the runes that you've collected throughout the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Sunday, the event will take place, and it's more of a granting access to something. Hope you like it. All right. There is another challenge that I want to go over briefly. Hopefully this is not taking too long. But it is a type challenge. All of the characters should get at least one of these playing cards. They are specific. I'm not going to show you the back because I can't trust all of you, but I hope you enjoy it. Each group will be responsible for getting an individual who has to know how to play poker, first of all, to collect up the various cards from their type. They'll be representing their type on Saturday night, pretty early on in the game. And basically, the goal is to make a hand to beat the reps from the other two. Now, obviously, if you want to be one of the reps, one for vampires, one for Farah and changelings, and one for Farah and Gru, and one for changelings. The you do need to be at the LARP on Saturday by 8 o'clock. If you can't make that, then you definitely want to pass it to someone else of your type so that they can rep your group. Each of the individuals of that type who is attached to the winner of the best hand out of the 3 will win additional XP points that they can then use on Sunday to upgrade their character and continue on from there. Let's see. We do have several other interesting things. First of all, the drinks are sodas and things like that. I do hope I can actually get the sweet tea that I want. It's honey flavored. We will be saying it's mead, but if you like it, awesome. If you don't like sweet tea, sorry. Sweet tea is pretty much what we do in the South. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it for now. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. I think that's how it works. This is my first video ever. Hope you like it. Don't hate me. Oh, I did have one more thing. Primogen. That is something that will be determined by the vampires by popular vote of each of the clans representing. They will be appearing in court on Saturday to be recognized by our prince, Dio, by the way, son of Mythos. If you've looked into the vampire lore, he's based on one of Mythos' children. I'm not telling you who. So, but there are these little chain thingies with a little triskel on the end. No, it's not a necklace. I mean, if you really want to wear it a necklace, you need to provide your own little attachments, but it is meant to be wrapped around the wrist, like so, with a little cord to tie it in place, signifying that you are the primogen of your vampire clan. Now, of course, those of you who don't want to have everyone know what you are, well, don't be primogen, because it's kind of obvious. If you're the Nosferatu primogen, well, people are going to know you're a Nosferatu if they see you in the first place. If you're a Toreador primogen, okay, so primogen. In this game, they're known as dukes and duchesses. Each of the primogen will be awarded a territory within the Great Britain, mostly in England. Things like Wales, it's still part of Britain. I think so. Or for instance, the area of York. The various territories, small or large, within Great Britain will be awarded to the various primogen to oversee as their territory for the household and court run by Dio. Okay. I think that's it. Hope this wasn't too annoying. Let me know. Thanks. Bye.